Hi, friends. Welcome to He Said, She Said, and ADHD Relationships.
Hi everyone, I'm your host Anna. I am the neurotypical one, and this is my life partner Craig, the neurospicy one.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
So I think this podcast is really special and different than a lot of ADHD resources out there is because we really want to offer perspectives from both sides. I think especially I want to feature perspectives from the non-ADHD partner because I feel our struggles is equally difficult and challenging as the ADHD partner themselves.
I can see that.
So I'm very excited about today's episode because trust me when I say this is that all those very effective strategies and tools we have developed over the past, I don't even know how many years, 9 years of a development to come up with our toolbox so we can really get some small little things in life to resolved. And I really think this episode can help you a ton. So what we're going to talk about is that how to get your ADHD partner to contribute to life chores, do those small little things, trivia things in life, but is also super important. For example, paying bills on time, doing taxes on time, pay your parking tickets, do the dishes, take the dog out for a walk, take the kids to school. All those things that seem to be easy and we non-ADHD partners tend to take it for granted. And I think those little life chores actually creates a lot of challenges for ADHD partners to do them. So tell me, Craig, what do you think that is? Let's just take a very easy example. Take garbage out on a trash pickup day. Like, why is it challenging for you? What elements are challenging?
Honestly, it's just about remembering to do it. And then even remembering to do it, you got to follow through with it also. Like there's times I know, oh, it's the day we take out garbage. And I'll remember it and I'll tell myself, oh, I got to do it later. And then I forget. And I just don't do it later unless I have one of the reminders.
Especially if you have something more interesting to do
100%.
Then just forget about the garbage pickup day, right?
For the ADHD ears out there listening, you know what's like you get into a zone or you're just stuck in, you're thinking about other things. You have other things on your mind or you easily get distracted by something else and you totally want to and are willing to take out the trash. It's not a big deal, but you simply just forget or are in another space.
From the non-ADHD partner's point of view, and please tell me, all the ladies out there, if you relate to this, is that over time it really creates resentment in you because you have this inner monologue going, why I'm the only one? I have to make sure the family schedule is on time. I have to take the trash out on time. I have to do the house cleaning on time. I have to take care of the cats, the dog, the kids. Why is all on me? And why the other partner who has ADHD just busy doing their next shiny project? So that resentment actually created a lot of arguments and fights with me and Craig in the past years. And we're still learning to navigate it. So now we're moving to the really practical and fun part is I'm going to introduce all the tools we invented, and Craig will be like a product review person to tell how this helped him or maybe not helping him. Then we can dive in deep, like how do we improve. So coming up, the very first tool, I'm super proud that I came up with this solution. It's called a TOD system. Hear me out. What is TOD system? So TOD stands for task of the day. So how this being invented is I feel so much pressure on me when I have to do everything in the house. Washing dishes, meal planning, taking care of things. Ladies out there, you know what I'm talking about. And it's not like Craig doesn't want to help, because every time I say, hey, can you help with certain things? He didn't say, you know what, I don't want to help. I don't want to contribute. Instead, he says, I'm in the middle of something. So I'm like, okay, you're in the middle of something. Then can you do the dishes later, right? And he says, okay, I will do the dishes later. But guess what? The dishes will pile up in the sink. And when I go to the kitchen, I want to prep next meal. I simply don't have any place to do anything because it's all packed. So that creates so much resentment. And I was like, you said you're going to take care of the dishes. Why don't you? Why you have to wait for the last second when we all go to bed? You take care of it. Then that's too late, right? So this entire thing got me thinking, what is the missing element here? And I discovered something. It's called a sense of time. So for non-ADHD partners, my neurotypical ladies out there, or some guys out there, have you noticed your ADHD partner may not have the same sense of time as you are? So Craig, what is your sense of time? Like why the doing dishes is not right away? Why it has to wait for the last minute of the day?
Well, it doesn't always have to wait for the last minute of the day. It just depends on what is happening. My sense of time is, honestly, it's based on priorities. And for me, the dishes aren't the top priority. It's not something that I'm not willing to do. I totally am willing to do it, and I do them. But my sense of time just seems to be much faster than yours, if that makes any sense. Excuse me. So yeah, and I will say that like one thing that really helps me to do something like the dishes is I do think of like the small reward system. Mm-hmm. So like
you're getting ahead of time, baby. We're still talking about TOD. I'm sorry. So let's come back to TOD system. So what I'm trying to say is that I notice for most of the ADHD partners, they may not have the same sense of time as we non-ADHD partner. So that gave me a moment being, okay, all the life chores ahead of you, you have to divide them into two groups. One group is called time-sensitive tasks. Another group is called not time-sensitive tasks. What I mean by that, for example, let's still take the dishes, for example. I would categorize dishes as time sensitive because once you finish breakfast, lunch, you need the sink, the dishes, the pots to make dinner. It is very time sensitive to me. They have to be cleaned. The kitchen have to have a counter space for me to prep the next meal. And what is not time sensitive tasks? Let's say vacuum the carpet. Because you don't have to use the carpet right away, or cleaning the floor. It doesn't create a block for your next task. So that gave me a whole moment. I go, oh, okay. So what if I take on all the time-sensitive tasks and I leave all the non-sensitive tasks to him? So I literally every day, I grab a sticker, I says TOD on the sticker, and I just list a few items that I think if he didn't do it on time, it's not the end of the world, like doing laundry. Like, it's not like we running out of underwears. He can do laundry today, he can do laundry tomorrow, preferably today. That's why it's called task of the day. But I don't have to care, I don't have to worry when he get those things done. And Craig has his own system. I notice he usually get it done before the day is over. Then, okay, great, it's done. I don't care when you get it done. So that way, immediately, all the house chores are shared equally between us. So my resentment just poof, gone away. So you can review this product, TOD. How does it help you, or what elements you think we can still improve?
I want to say a couple things. Like, this is a weird example because you're the one that does the laundry in the house, and we both kind of share dishes, But you usually do the dishes.
Those were just examples, guys.
Yeah, so
I'm sure you have every house is different, right? You have your own definition, what is time sensitive, what is not. Like maybe cooking for the kids, that's very time sensitive. But for us, we don't have kids, then that's not even something we consider.
And also, I just want to clear up, by stickers, she means Post-its, for those that maybe didn't catch on to that. That's okay though, baby. So yeah, no, I think when we first rolled out, so to speak, the TOD, we had one issue, and
which was
as soon as you gave it to me, you still wanted me to get it done right then and there,
because
and I kept on
when the TOD beta ran. I didn't consider time. I was just like, okay, here's your task of the day. Can you get them done quickly? But that beta test failed. Makes me wonder why. So that's why it came out the non-time sensitive method to have you. Right.
And so, I would prioritize these things at a certain time of the day. And 99% of the time, I work from home, so I'm in front of the computer a lot. And sometimes I'll want to take a break, and that's maybe I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but like maybe that's my like cigarette break. I'll just go do some dishes or like wipe down a counter or something, or play with the dog, or I'll just chill. But I usually do it at the end of the night because I kind of have my own like mental reward system structure that we'll get into a little bit later.
So that helps me, like your evening ritual.
Yeah.
As a closing of your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really love TOD system because I had so many fights with Craig regarding why I'm doing all the house chores and he's just being busy doing some shiny projects. I don't even know what they are. But right after TOD system is deployed, we have a much better, much healthier, much smoother relationship because of it. So definitely try the TOD system. Consider divide chores between you guys and give the ADHD partner chores they feel comfortable to do it, and you're not in a hurry to have those things done. So moving on to the second tool, which I think is super duper very important, also kind of life changing for us, which is we call it weekly life meeting. So before weekly life meeting, I noticed my ADD partner Craig just not really good at completing life stuff. What I mean by life stuff, for example, making doctor appointment, fill up pills prescription, for example, paying parking tickets, getting mails from mailbox, grocery planning, house chores included. I feel like they're more like on the go kind of attitude. They think on their feet. They're like, oh, fridge is empty, let's go grocery run. But there's no pre-planning of that. So now we have a weekly life meeting. I literally write down all the things in life that we need to take care of together as a couple. And the majority of them is also helping him to take care of his personal life, especially that is super non-ADD friendly tasks like paying bills. I know you guys out there, if you have ADD, you hate paying bills, and I'm here to help. So we have weekly life meeting for us is on every Sunday, and then we just go through the list to kind of check in where things are at. How do you feel about weekly life meeting?
Yeah, it's very helpful. And I will tell anybody that's any of the ADHDers out there listening to this, one thing that has been helpful for me is to also sit down during the life meeting and just for 5 minutes beforehand, just write down anything you can think of that needs to be taken care of. Because often your partner will also get it, and she'll be happy that he or she will be happy that you are aware that it also needs to be done. And, it is very helpful. And especially if you can do it on a day where you just maybe take an hour and you actually get some of those tasks done while sitting there in the life meeting, not just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this on my to-do list. And then, you don't do it during the course of the week. So those things are very helpful. You have to come in with an open mind and attitude, because I think some of us might struggle with that attitude. And I also want to say, the CEO of JetBlue has ADHD, and there was like a quote about him. It's JetBlue. It's a major airline, and there was a quote about him. Somebody said about him, "I would trust you to plan an airway with like 10 planes coming in and taking off at the same time, but I wouldn't trust you to pay your electricity bill on time." And that about sums up what ADHD is like.
And that literally happened in your life where before me, helping you taking care of life stuff, before you were dating me, you literally would forget to pay electricity bill and your light literally went off.
Yeah,
your light went off. You're like, oh yeah, I didn't pay bills. Okay, so that's weekly life meeting. And next we have a really fun tool that it really helps like psychologically get them to do things, which we call visual reminder. What does a visual reminder really means? So let me say this, ladies or non-ADHD partners out there. We often have a misconception that those A partners, they just lazy, doesn't care, selfish. That's how they come off. But I'm telling you, that's not how they truly feel. Because I talked with Craig, I noticed something. He wants to help because helping the house brings him joy. But oftentimes he doesn't help. So what is missing here is they have a forgetfulness, right? Like you forget things.
Forgetting, I don't think is actually the right word. It's more like we are distracted by other
things. You see, like your attention is like everywhere. You're distracted. Yeah. So we came up with this solution called a visual reminder. What is a visual reminder? Let me give you an example. Every time Craig goes out to take a dog for a walk or running errands, he doesn't put on sunscreen. I say, hey, you put on sunscreen. He says, okay. And then right by going out, he forgets again. So what is a visual reminder? I put the sunscreen bottle in his shoe. Ladies, in his shoe. How is that serve a visual reminder? Because you have to put the shoes on to go out. So you have to put the visual reminder in the process of if he's going to do something, he must reach that visual reminder. So that way, he put on shoes, he saw the sunscreen, then most times he will put a sunscreen on. But hear me out, I do have incidents where I put the sunscreen next to the shoe, but not in the shoe. He will literally take the sunscreen away because it's not in the shoe. He kicked it away and he forgot about the sunscreen. So that's visual reminder. We also have a lot of Post-it in the house, and I will just put Post-it on things. For example, let's just say eggs in the fridge is about to expire. We need to cook eggs. And I will just put a sticker on the fridge. When he opened the fridge, he will saw the sticker right there and say, use the eggs because they're going to expire. Those things. So just think about how to place visual reminders, those Post-it on objects, things like a computer, a mirror, in the shoe, where your partner has to go through that route. There's no way they cannot not reach it. Then that visual reminder will work.
So I love visual reminders, but I want to say some things. Like, I think ADHDers, seeing a Post-it on eggs to say use these first is going to make you feel like a child. And you're going to be pissed. And you're going to get annoyed.
So I drew a heart and a smiley face. Does that help?
Yeah, but the thing to remember, guys and gals out there, is just roll with it and then add this system for yourself in your personal life. Like, for example, like for me, I might do something where I'm working in my room and I know something else needs to go upstairs, right? I'm working in my man room and then something else needs to go upstairs. I'll put it in front of my door. So when I do have to go out of the room, I'll grab it and I'll know, because otherwise I might forget. And then like another small thing to think about is just organizing the refrigerator. Maybe there's a section where you have all the leftovers or all the things that are about to expire, and that that's what you have to or should cook first. So just adding those little systems in your personal life, let alone in your life with your partner, is incredibly helpful. And this also takes a deep level of communication between the two partners, because there might be like little nuances that each person has to figure out because of whatever reason. They might get offended by the ADHDer might get offended by something that your partner is trying to do, just in the same way that your partner might be offended by you thinking you don't care when you actually do.
Yeah, like I draw a lot of hearts and a smiley face, but sometimes they still just don't cut it. Not enough. So let's talk about next tool coming up, which is I'll group them into one, which is alarm and timer. And guys, if you open Craig's phone, you won't even believe how many alarms are there. It's like the alarms list is like a million alarms there. So how do you use alarms, honey?
Yeah, I mean, I have alarms for just about everything, honestly. Like, I have one set for Mondays at 10 p.m. right before I go to bed it's time to take out trash, in case one of us forgets or she's not around or whatever. It also, like, if you can use your phone, as one of the reminders, it's incredibly helpful. And she's right. I have a ton of reminders that are set, and like a lot of them are set for just like once. It's, like make a phone call at 3 p.m. or a reminder, like I might put it in a calendar, or you have a business phone call, or you have somebody you need to reach out to and talk to about whatever at a specific time. Sometimes I put it in like 3 places, guys, like just to remind myself. And then also timers, sometimes it's like I for whatever reasons, I just don't set an alarm like, oh, in 1 hour I have to do this, or in 1 hour I need to stop doing this and I need to move on to something else. So I'll just set a timer on my phone for an hour. And then when it goes off, I'm like, okay, time to stop, time to move on. Yeah, things like that. And also visual reminders plus timers sometimes are incredibly effective.
Yeah, so Craig, you mentioned just a minute ago that you think way faster than neurotypical people. Like you feel like your time is moving so fast.
Yeah.
So I do notice something is he has this misconception of time. For example, let's just say get a car oil change. He will say, "Oh, that can be done in 30 minutes." I'm like, "No, that cannot be done in 30 minutes. That's like 2-3 hours because you gotta wait, you gotta call, blah blah blah." So we also come up with a system where he can think a number, how long one task will take, but just automatically multiply by 3 or by 9 in our case. Just make it longer, because in real life, it takes way slower than what's happening in your head.
Yeah, and sometimes, I never multiply by 9. She's exaggerating. But if I multiply by 2 or 3, if it happens to take less time, it's not a big deal. But if you're like, oh yeah, it's going to take me 30 minutes and it takes you an hour and a half, then it's a big deal. Versus you plan an hour and a half and it ends up only taking you 45 minutes or whatever, or an hour even, then you have that extra 30 minutes and it doesn't really cause any problems.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for your feedback. So we're moving on to our last tools. This one, I really like this system, which I call the reset system. And I feel like it's truly life-changing, maybe a bigger word for it, but it really ensures you to have a very organized life and you wake up every day feeling so fresh and ready to start. And I think a lot of ADD people might downplay this reset system. What it means is every night before we go to bed, we'll reset our living room kitchen as if nothing happened today. So we'll fill up the coffee, we'll wipe down the counter, straighten out the carpet, do some quick stuff. Trust me, it only takes 5 minutes, right? Less than 10 minutes, really quick. But what is so helpful is that next day you feel so refreshed. Everything's in place. They're ready for you to use. And everything is organized. You know where exactly everything is. And you wake up every day, look at your house, you feel happy.
Yeah, I had a lot of resistance to doing this with her for a little while. Like we do it twice during the day, once before we go to bed and then once like after our dog goes to bed. And it does only take like 5 to 10 minutes. But I'll tell you, I went and I stayed with somebody recently, like a family, and they don't implement that system because most households don't. But I dramatically felt the difference mentally. And if you're ADHD and sometimes having that clean, like uncluttered home, but you still kind of know where everything is, ends up helping you a lot mentally, emotionally. I've found it very effective for that. And she's right. Like, it just feels good, especially if you do it at night before you go to bed and you come downstairs in the morning and you're like, oh, it feels like nice and clean. And it literally takes 5-10 minutes if you do it with your partner. It doesn't take long
To a
at
point,
all.
I feel like you're very happy to do your taking care of pet hair routine. We have a little brush called Chom Chom. You can literally call Chom Chom, right?
Yeah,
You can find
yeah.
it on Amazon. He will be so excited to Chom Chom. Chom Chom our couch, our chairs, Chom Chom away all the pet hair.
I totally play with it. It's a fun little tool. You should look it up. If you're ADHD, you might, you know how like we like to fidget and like we'll just like spin like a fidget spinner or like tap on something. It's very something that's fun to like fidget with in a lot of ways while you're cleaning. It's a fun, simple tool. I like it, strangely.
So last system coming up, I think is more like a philosophy system, which I think is really going to be helpful mentally for you and your partner. There is a really a misconception about ADD people is that they don't do those things, they just don't care. But if you really talk to them, they want to do those things. They do care and they want to contribute. And I noticed something is positivity lifts them up dramatically, where complaining, nagging, negativity just shuts them down. I noticed that. So this last system we call it reward system.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this because I use like little rewards all the time. And when I say reward, it's not going out and like buying yourself some big dinner or spending a lot of money. Sometimes it's just taking 5 minutes to honestly listen to your favorite song. Or it's like, for example, we were just talking about our like nightly reset. You know what my reward system is? I get to go to bed. Like, it's something.
What an easy and achievement.
It's, like we could create a routine and like schedule and be like, like all of us could agree, oh, that schedule makes sense. Of course you're going to do it at this time, but it doesn't mean as an ADHD you're going to get it done. So like the reward system sometimes is like, oh, I get to go to bed after this. It's something like simple and it motivates me to do it. And yeah, like whatever that reward system is, guys, it doesn't have to be something big. It could be like, oh, go stand out in the sun for 5 minutes. It could be take 5 minutes to, I don't know.
And guess what? For non-ADHD partners, we can give reward system really simple, but it plays a big role. We simply say, thank you so much. You helping me reset the house makes me feel so at peace. I'm ready to go to bed. I feel calm. Thank you for your contribution. And that boosted them up. And they want to do more.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to help you.
See, that's how they will react.
But that does work a lot for those non-ADHDers out there. Like, I know for me, and I mean, ultimately it works for everybody, but ADHDers tend to respond to positivity really well. So just a few words can go a long way.
And that philosophy can even apply to your work, which is you do the tasks you feel a little bit dreaded to do first, and that will get you to do the task you really want to do later, right? You use that system a lot.
100%. If you're an entrepreneur out there and you got to like go send a bunch of emails before you can go work on the creative part of whatever your project is, yeah, sometimes that's very helpful as a motivator. Just prioritizing in the right way.
Yeah, that's about it. So we still continue developing more systems, more solutions, more tools, because As you may already know, this is a daily challenge and daily struggle. We still have to work on it. So definitely follow us, join the community, join the love, share your questions, share your struggles, and let's tackle this thing together. You will find us on all the podcast platforms. Our podcast is He Said, She Said, an ADHD relationship. We're on YouTube as well, where our personal Twitter handle for me is Anna Pan Art, and for Craig is
At the Derbied one. So that's DERBIEDONE.
We also have a Twitter handle ADD relationship, no H because H is already registered. But come find us because we're looking for our tribe. I believe there are tons of people out there. We need to share our insights. We need to help each other. Join the love.
I would love to get to know you and say hi. So, as the ADHD others probably know, you probably talk to a lot of different people all over the place. And I'm very digital forward, so say hi.
We'll see you in the next episode. Have a positive day.
Be a kind human.